So today I'm going to present you about my recent update with respect of previous video, and today I'm going to cover about MCP quite detailed because I have created a MCP pure Python package to implement model context protocol, and I have implemented Odoo MCP, Odoo 18 MCP server inside that with implementing a few tools, and those tools I will going to explain that which kind of tools I have implemented inside that, and I'm going to put that project also to open source to you guys to explore and do the further process according to your needs. But before going into detail, I would like to give you few brief idea about what is MCP and what is the use case of MCP, why it is really a buzz term nowadays, because everybody is really talking about this. Not only talking about this, everybody is using this, and even I am also using this in my editor, various ID or Visual Studio or WinServe, where I'm using my own created MCP server also to utilize my code, which helpful for me. So I will show you that also by running Odoo 18 MCP server inside CRUD or inside my WinServe, and even it is possible I can do Visual Studio by configuring that configuration. So you can do also the same, and it's I just used STDIO protocol, which they have a different type of possibility, which is again a technical term for MCP. But I can give you some graphical representation like what is MCP specifically do in terms of architecture side. So you will see normally when we use a MCP server, we are using MCP server in a different host. Okay, now different host, it means it can be used as a chat engine like a CRUD desktop, or I can use it in my own editor. Even I can implement a agent application using LangGraph, Pydantic AI, or any other agentic framework which I can use and where I can access MCP server directly. So those specific place, what we are doing, we are integrating those various server and the MCP server can be a database, it can be a API, or it can be a code, like I can use my own code and run it through MCP protocol, and it will communicate to respond directly. This is a simple architecture what I can explain you as a client and server specific part. But if I go inside detail, how I can explain you about how it will work, means when, so for this particular diagram will explain you much more better clarity, that when we go for the MCP host side and when we implement a specific LLM agent and use the MCP server as a call, then what happened? What really happened? So when we put the query in our chat engine, normally LLM will first, that query will pass to LLM. LLM will check the query with reference of tool, what is assigned. So it will query the MCP host for tool use, and for tool use it will check all the assigned listed tools, and it will, you can see, it will redirect you to MCP server. And under the MCP server you have a multiple option, like you have a Postgres database related or any specific database related MCP server where it will raise the query, or it is API related or code. So all the listed thing first it will be returned back to MCP host, and MCP host will reply back to LLM, and accordingly the need of LLM will call that tool with query to second call to MCP host. MCP will host will take that tool into consideration and it will call MCP server with the related API code or DB or whatever it is, and then MCP server will process that part, whatever the code it will, and it will return back to MCP host, and then it will reply back to LLM with that. So basically it will also do a two-way communication. First it will call, then it will go for the LLM will query and tool, and it will reply back using tool. So it will merge the query with the tool's response, and then LLM will grounded its reply based on this. So this way the whole tool implementation is not required to implement it in terms of agent or whatever it is. And those tools can be so many tools. It can be any tools you can use. I'm just opening a specific GitHub repo where you can see that there are a lot of MCP server available which have a different purpose. Like the Brave search will allow you to directly use the searching online search, and you can directly add this Brave search inside your configuration. Okay, and obviously they have a configuration possibility, like you can go with Docker or you can go with NPX configuration, because if you require an installation of NPX, by the way, it is a minimum requirement, and then you will pass this configuration, the server will be activated for you and to respond it automatically. So this way you have a different MCP server. You can use any MCP server, whatever is mentioned, and how to implement your own server and client. For that also there are two documentation available. Like if I go for the MCP Python documentation SDK, so it has also available a detailed documentation that how you can implement a MCP server based on the MCP CLI command, and how you can configure, and it will also link with the fast MCP, so you can convert any fast API controller into MCP server. So that is also possible. So this documentation is completely available. You can check, explore and learn by yourself. There is no any issue. Now coming back to the Odoo specific part, what kind of thing I have implemented specific to Odoo. So for specific to Odoo, I have implemented specific connectivity of Odoo, where you can connect Odoo 18 directly through XML-RPC through authentication. So Odoo allow you to connect externally using any code, like in Python or PHP or Java, any code medium you can use to connect for the authentication. And I have added some CRUD operation, like you can do a create, update, delete, all this kind of operation you can do easily using a chat prompt. I have used a dynamic model support because I have used Odoo framework for that. So there is no any static code. I have used ir.model fields. From ir.model you can have all the model listed under that, and that model have a fields, and those fields and model will be read dynamically according to requirement. So you have a field gate, you have an advanced search, you have a field gate, all the options are available inside the code. On top of this, I have implemented export and import functionality. So for export, I have used the existing advanced search and everything to filter out the fields model, and it will do a search query to return the data, and it will export directly to CSV file. So export functionality. You can also export import compatible, where you can add multiple model record also to be exported, and then you can update that file, and same path you can use to import it. Like Odoo standard also support have a export import compatibility, where you can export and import any model with reference of import wizard, but through chat also this can be achieved. So this particular project have all those functionality to cover. Okay, and I have enabled this. So I have enabled this in CLOUD desktop configuration, so you can do with CLOUD desktop configuration. I can show you that also. This is my CLOUD desktop app. Let me run that CLOUD desktop application for you. Inside that, I have enabled my local um, project, whatever the project I have, where all the tools are available, and it will load it through CRUD Desktop. Continue on the MCP server and the tools what I have created under the hood of Odoo connectivity. So here I have just prepared some tool which is related to Odoo, and the tool contain the RAG application, which is actually working on top of Odoo documentation, and obviously I have added online search, Brave search with it as a API call, and prepare a whole context based on top result. The Gemini LLM model will respond properly on basis of that. So that is all about the RAG application tool as a MCP tool. I can say another tool which is related to CRUD, which is create, read, update. All this operation can easily perform within the chat prompt with reference of process. So that is also supported. Other than that, I have added export and import, like I can import or export any model record, and even I have added agent for that as a tool which will allow a multi-model export import also possible. So that is also covered under the hood of that. So let's check quickly. So you can see you can see that I have started my application as a front end. So this is one of application client as a MCP client, where I will show you all the tool, but MCP server is running over here. You will see the MCP server is started by me as a standalone MCP server, and I'm using standard IO protocol, and under the hood of that it will load all the tools whatever I have created under the hood of the code, including the RAG application, and even it will directly connect with the local Odoo system what I already have with my local Odoo. So I can show you my Odoo connectivity over here, which is a Docker installation, and so it will connect everything with this database and do all the related operations. So we will check direct connectivity and even the all kind of operation it is going to perform. So first of all, I will show you on a Claude where I have added my MCP server configuration. I can show you that also. So you will see this is my custom Odoo 18 MCP server, which is running through my local environment, and these all are the environment variable which is required to connect my local machine. Obviously Odoo documentation, RAG application folder are also available, so I have added that part on top of it also. So let's check the basic thing how I can check. So I have a few sample test cases where we can directly test this, like give me all project tasks according to their deadline, and you will see that my MCP it will directly connect with my MCP server, and it will search all the project tasks according to their deadline, and it will display everything under the hood of that. So it's the power of the same thing, because I have a limitation of tokens, it will not continue to work. But let's check that how many things it work. I can give you one more example, like list all sale order under the customer name as a Gemini furniture. So it will do the search operation, and you can see that the MCP server is already called from Cloud Desktop, and it will respond me immediately with using tool. So this is the sale order, it will return everything on that. Okay, same thing I can do export import also. So let's do something like export all products, and save this with /tmp folder. So what it will do, it will call the export tool from the database and it will save all the product in CSV. You can see that it will give me a file system, which is another tool I have added as allow, but after using that it will create and export all the, now it will use to save the record in desktop, because instead of it already use the TMP folder, but allow directory is not there, so it will use desktop. So you can see it already exported in a file, and I can show you in my desktop also all the products are exported. Okay, and this export is generated through my MCP server. You will see. For import, I will show you using my my client, Streamline client. So the same thing I will show you, Streamline export import. So it will give me an overview of that also. You can see that the same operation we can perform in my Streamline app also, like under the chat. I have already tested for the few query. You can see the results over here. So same thing I can give you the same query, like this is the query, list all the project tasks for the research and development part. So let me clear this out first and then save this query and just send. So now my streamlined client will also do the same. It will list me all the project tasks with reference of that. Beside that, this is already we checked. I can use the advanced specific part also, like I have advanced search, like give me the all the fields like product.product model, and then it will return me all the fields of product.product, including the importance of fields it will generate it. I can do with any model. It can be any model like sale.order, and then so this tool will very much useful for any agent to prepare any application, because it will cover so many things. Like I can give you one example, like res.partner wait, and then I just give me my PAN card for the validation purpose, and then it will validate that field also that it is correct. I have to reload my Streamlit app and just go back for the advanced search. These two sections we already covered, so let's go for the list out all customers with more than 5 orders. List out all customers with more than 5 orders. Let's check how it will return me. So it returned me 14 customers which has a more than 5 order. I can check list out all vendors which has linked bill with paid status. Let's check. This is something complicated error, but it won't found. So let's check that it is working well or not. I'm just putting this in a more complicated way, how it will go for it. So these all are the purchase order, and we can check that how many vendor will we have. Yeah, so these all are the bills and all are unpaid. So just go for payment. Okay, and now I just copy this and try to search again how it will work. Maybe I need to reload it and check for the advance, is it working well or not. So it won't identify, but let me change the query that list out all vendor which has a bill Okay, so now it will return me all the bills for that. Now I can go to with paid status and check. No, so it's not working for the third query, but we can improve this advanced search based on NLP query. That's fine. But I can move further over here for the documentation. Let's go for the documentation first over here, and give me some option like how to configure taxes in Odoo. First, I just give a simple query and just do a documentation search for that. So it will call the configuration, it will do the online search, so we just need to wait for that how it will finish the online search. Yeah, it's done. So now you will see that it will give me the whole taxes configuration, how to do, and it will even give me the citation detail, even the related topics. And this URL is the documentation URL. You can open it and check. So this is something quite good compared to odoo.com, where I just go with the help and just ask how to configure taxes with Odoo 18. So I just ask them and it will give me a result, but the result will be very limited, not so detailed answer what we get compared to here, because I have merged my response with documentation plus the online search, and even the related topics. It will give me the other related topics also we can get to know. Let's check for one more query, how to configure taxes in Odoo with respect of Indian localization. So I just put this query, first press the enter, and how to configure taxes with Indian localization and GST related details, and just do the search how it will work. Let's check. So it will pass the query, do online search, and that's it. So over here it just put me the detail of Indian service localization. It will also configure the GST configuration for the documentation. However, there are so many details possible I can ask. So this is working well. The same thing I can ask from chat also, it will work.